On this occasion, I would like to request Dr. P. Nageshwara sir, Dean IQAC, Coordinator, Vardhaman College of Engineering, to address the gathering. Please welcome, sir.
So, I am audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Respected Principal Dr. Javier Ravindra sir, Dean Academics Dr. Rajender, Dean R&D Dr. J. Krishna Chaitanya, Dean Outreach Dr. Mukul, my fellow coordinator Dr. Rajnikant, heads of the departments, the participants from mentee institutions and from other institutions. A very good morning to one and all. A warm welcome to all the members to this 1 week of online faculty development program on outcome-based education and accreditation process. The FDP is conducted under AICTE Margadarshan scheme. The object of this AICTE Margadarshan scheme is to mentor 10 institutions to achieve NBA accreditation. As part of this scheme, we have been guiding our mentee institutions to achieve NBA accreditation. Already 2 institutions are accredited and 2 institutions have submitted their SAR and waiting for expected visit. One more institution is about to submit their pre-qualifier. One fundamental requirement to get accreditation is to provide quality education to the learners and to see that the graduates are equipped with the attributes defined by the NBA so that they are acceptable and their degrees are accepted throughout the world. So this FDP is aimed to train the faculty working in engineering colleges to understand the philosophy of OBE and to participate and to practice OBE with the true spirit. They can understand the spirit of OBE only when the faculty implement with the true spirit and if they involve in practicing OBE. I am confident that this 1 week faculty development program will give a clear insight and get enlightened with the importance of OBE. I wish the participants will get benefited out of this FDP. Before I ask the chief guest to start his inaugural note, let me present the schedule for this 1 week faculty development program. This is actually this is planned for 1 week. Now we are in the inaugural session. After the inaugural session, our principal and the convener of this 1 week faculty development program, Dr. Javier Ravindra sir, will talk about OBE framework and essence of accreditation, benefits, vision and mission and PUOs. And in the afternoon session, Dr. A. Rajnikant, my fellow coordinator of this FDP, Dr. Rajnikant will deliver a talk on course design and backward approach. Tomorrow, that is on 24th, morning session 10 to 12, Professor Mohammad Asif, Associate Dean Student Affairs, will give a talk on Bloom's taxonomy and the levels of learning. And tomorrow's afternoon session 2 to 4, Dr. S. Rajender, Dean Academics, Vardhaman College of Engineering, will give a talk on defining course outcomes, how to define the course outcomes and how to design assessments and assignments in the context of OBE as per the Bloom's taxonomy. On 25th morning, Dr. S. Rajendra again, Dean Academics, Vardhaman College of Engineering, will deliver a talk on setting target levels and course articulation matrix. The afternoon session, again, our principal, Dr. Javier Ravindra, will give a clear insight how to design a curriculum to meet POs and how to design add-on courses to attain program outcomes and course outcomes. On 26th morning, 10 to 12, a case study of competition of PO and CO attainments by Professor Rajagopal Reddy, Associate Professor, Department of Tripoli, Vardhaman College of Engineering, will give a clear picture how to calculate the attainments of COs and POs with examples. 2 to 3, again Professor Mohammad Asif, Associate Dean, Student Affairs, Vardhaman College of Engineering, deliver a talk on extracurricular co-curricular activities, how to map those activities to the POs. A wonderful session that is going to deliver on 26th afternoon session 2 to 3. And on 26th, 3 to 4, Dr. A. Rajnikant, my fellow coordinator of this FDP and head of the department of CSC, will give a talk on CA, Innovation and Entrepreneurship and Startups. On 27th of this month, 10 to 12, Dr. A. Jabbar, head of the department of AML, he will give a talk on research methodology, how to choose a journal to publish their scientific writing. 27th afternoon, 2 to 4, Dr. J. Krishna Chaitanya, the Dean R&D of Vardhaman College of Engineering, will deliver a talk on promoting research consultants and industrial projects. On 28th, that is the last day, 10 to 12, myself, I am going to deliver a talk on first year academics and student support systems. And afternoon of 28th, 2 to 3, governance and institutional support by Ms. Haruna, Associate Professor, Department of IT, BCE, Hyderabad. I request all the participants to be regular to the FDP. See that you get benefited out of this FDP, and you need to have 80% attendance throughout this workshop. Not simply to get the certificate. Please see that you get benefited out of this. That is our ultimate idea. Faculty who are working in engineering colleges seeking NBA accreditation, definitely they will get benefited. It is our main motto of conducting this FDP. At the last day, on this Saturday, on 28th, there will be a test. Those who have 80% attendance and those who clear the small test at the end, you will get certificate automatically. See that you are attending the test also, so that you get the certificate automatically. So thank you, and all over to Jayalakshmi.
Thank you, sir, for briefing about Margadarshan scheme and 1 week FDP. Now I would like to request Dr. S. Rajendra sir, Dean Academics, Vardhaman College of Engineering, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Madam. Jayalakshmi, Madam.
Welcome, sir.
Respected principals, sir, deans, heads of the departments, and all the participants present over here for this FDP, 1 week FDP. A very good morning to all of you. This FDP, as the title indicates, it is focusing on the OBE and the accreditation process. And we have been listening to so many FDP talks or OBE talks on so many FDP platforms. So most of you might be aware of some of the things that we have to follow for practicing OBE at your institution. But this FDP will be focusing on all the required activities that are to be carried out at the institution level to implement the OBE in true sense at their institutions. So one must understand the principles and processes of OBE to really implement that OBE in the education institution. So before going to these topics for the long week FDP, so we should know basically what is OBE, why OBE is required in the education institutions. So there are so many definitions about this OBE, but all of them are based upon the underlying principles of OBE. So the key person who has introduced this OBE is William G. Spady, who is called as the father of OBE. He's an academician, educational psychologist, and sociologist. It has come in it has started so many years back, from 1988 and so on. But the institutions keep implementing this from 1994. But in India, we have come into this implementation of OBE in later 2000 onwards, and the total implementation of this OBE lies upon some certain principles and processes. And if we really understand these things, then we can learn more things about that and keep implementing that at our institution. So there are 4 principles of OBE that they are clarity of focus. Clarity of focus means the teacher and learner should have a full clarity of what they are going to do, what they are going to learn, what is that they are going to achieve after this learning experience. So that clarity of focus, if we have, then the outcomes can be seen from the achievements of the students. And the next principle is designing down. Designing down is nothing but the chronological implementation of the processes at the institution, like outcome-based curriculum, then outcome-based teaching learning process, learning experience in this week, and there are so many takeaway points that are there so that you can go and explore them and implement at your education institutions. So I wish you all very best and have a fruitful learning experience this week. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for giving us your precious time and sharing insightful knowledge on OBE. Now, it's a great honor for me to introduce and welcome today's chief guest, principal, as well as one of the eminent speaker of this FDP, Dr. JVR Ravindra sir. Dr. JVR Ravindra sir, working as a professor in EC department and principal of Vardhaman College of Engineering, Hyderabad. He done his PhD in Electronics and Communication Engineering from IIIT Hyderabad, MA in System and Signal Processing from Osmania University, Hyderabad, and BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Osmania University, Hyderabad. He has more than 22 years of teaching experience and 17 years of research experience. He started his career as assistant professor from 1999, and he is the professor in EC department from the past 11 years, Vardhaman College of Engineering. He is currently holding the position as principal, Vardhaman College of Engineering, Hyderabad. Sir has authored more than 100 papers in referred journals and conferences, and he holds 3 patents. Dr. JVR Ravindra sir completed project from AICTE worth of 3.10 lakhs and completed project from DST FIST worth of 50 lakhs and completed project from DST CSIR worth of 41.98 lakhs, and he completed project worth of under VOSA scheme worth of 19.95 lakhs and completed project DST TIDE worth of 50.58 lakhs. And one PhD scholar has completed his doctoral degree under his able guidance, and 8 PhD scholars from various universities like JNTUH, JNTUK and KL universities are registered their doctoral degree under his able guidance. Dr. JVR Ravindra sir is a senior member of IEEE and senior member of ACM and fellow of IETE and member of IE. His current research interests include approximate computing using machine learning, modeling of ultra-low power interconnects, designing of high-speed and low-power arithmetic circuits, low-power DSP architectures, hardware security, and wireless sensor network. Sir has secured many honors and awards in his career. Some of them are Osmania University rank holder for Best Performance in ME and Best Performance Award winner for Exceptional Academic Record in BE, and presented Best Paper Award at National Level Symposium held at NIT Warangal, India, and Best Performance Award in National Physics Association conducted by Andhra University, and Sir has received Best Paper Award from IEEE ISOCC 2016, South Korea. Now, I would like to invite the Dr. JVR Ravindra sir for the inaugural address and start the session.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thank you very, very much, Jayalakshmi madam. Actually, even I don't know all these things, at least some of them, sometimes it is good to listen about yourself when someone is talking about you. It's really a gap situation to me. Fantastic. So thank you very much. And it's a warm good morning to all of you. all the participants who are online. Thank you very, very much for this particular session. So it's a great privilege to give a inaugural talk on this particular occasion. All right, because anyway, I have my first session in next couple of minutes, OBE framework and essence of accreditation and benefits of vision, mission, and PEOs. So anyway, I'll be sharing with you all the details of OBE and other things, and otherwise, my fellow colleagues already spoken about the importance of OBE and in true sense. Please understand, you underline this true sense because people have been talking about this particular word. So when this, outcome-based education, if you are going to implement, this has to be done in a perfect true sense. And you must please also understand that this particular OBE, if you start, probably you may get the fruits after 1 year or 1.5 years, because one complete course you have to teach right from the beginning to the end. And it's not that whenever you have completed that particular course, the course is over, because there are certain things that you may not be able to achieve in that particular semester. So again, you have to follow up and then talk to the students and where are they lagging and whatnot. You will understand so many things. There are so many things. So once you really go through this entire particular process, then this outcome-based education is really one of the best thing. Yes, sir.
Can you switch on your video so that the participants will see you?
Okay, fine. I'm sorry, I thought I have switched on. All right. Yeah, I'm very sorry. I thought I switched on. Thank you, sir. And coming back to the statement, this true sense is very, very important. As I said just now that earlier, frankly speaking, probably some 7 to 8 years back, I had a misinterpretation on this particular thing. Right, because I used to think that how outcomes are really achieved. But once we are all involved in this particular process, the entire family of Vardhaman, every faculty involved seriously in this particular OBE education, then we really understood that what the best thing that the OBE has given to us. And because there are certain things that we have to really do it at lots of stages while you are working on the criterias, and automatically there are certain things will drive you in the particular system. So that's the biggest point in this particular OBE. But barring them, I have a couple of slides. I just would like to talk about the Vardhaman College of Engineering and its achievements for a couple of minutes, and then I'll really start my OBE session. So once again, thank you all for this FDP and the board of promoters. These four people are driving the Vardhaman College of Engineering. The college is started in 1999, and the prime objective of this particular institute is to promote the higher education in the engineering and technology. And we have vision, mission, and quality policies. Today I'm going to tell about how to even write the vision, mission statements. Okay. So, but our vision is we wanted to be as a pioneer institute and leader in engineering education to address the societal needs through education and practice. I let you know that what is this vision and how this vision is involved in the curriculum. Right from that vision to the curriculum, everything is interlinked in the OBE. Then only we'll see the outcomes. And to achieve that particular vision, we have the mission statements also. And please understand that faculty-centric learning methods are one of the famous technique way back, probably some 15-20 years back, faculty-centric methods used to have. But over a period of time, the education system has been evolved and in such a way that now everything is turned to the student-centric learning methods. So what exactly student needs is what you have to teach. It's not that whatever you know, you have to teach, because there is a gap already. There is a gap between industry and academia, and now this particular gap is now going up. That means now it is getting broadened, and it is our responsibility to fill that particular gap, because we are the people are producing the engineers to the society. And whenever you look at the any kind of industry, they just pick up the students who have that kind of the attitude as well as the learning methods. So that's the main thing. And the second point is we are actually concentrating on job providers rather than the job seekers. So entrepreneurial skills also we have to really improve in the student community. And of course, whenever the society needs any kind of thing, we have to make our students to be ready for that and make the research as a part of the curriculum that already we have done it, and promoting the continuing education. And I have only 2 slides here to say that. And some of the achievements of Vardhaman colleges. This is a college, autonomous college, but still under the umbrella of JNTU and affiliated to JNTU-H, AICTE approved college. And recently we have, we got the NAC accredited A++ with a CGPA 3.58. And 5 of our UG programs got accredited by NBA under Tier 1. And I tell you how we have started practicing OBE and where are we now? It is almost 13 years in the entire journey of OBE. And the CSE, IT, EC, EEE, and Mechanical Engineering are accredited by NBA. And UGC Autonomous is also there till 2030 and 31. And NIRF rank 143. And in latest, that is 2020. And ATAL ranking based on in the band of 26th and 50. And the college is continuously supporting to the IEEE and conducting various events by IEEE. So we have received Outstanding Student Branch Award in the year 2020. And some of the recognitions are 2F and 12B recognized by UGC and MSME Business Incubator and AICTE Margadarshan scheme that I'm going to share with you now. And 3 of the department got approval by JNTU-H as a research centers, and some of them are listed here. And a couple of milestones right from 99 to 2021, almost 23 years of thing, and almost every department has PG program. Way back in 99, we started with the 3 departments. Now the number of departments have gone to 9, and except artificial intelligence and machine learning departments, the other core departments are having their research centers as well as master's programs. Yeah, so this is one particular slide which will tell you about the Margadarshan scheme. Under this particular scheme, we are conducting this FDP. And this particular thing is sanctioned in 2019 for 3 years. And as Nageshwar sir said that, we have to really encourage the colleges, 10 colleges, and to make them ready for the NBA inspection, as well as the main idea is to, complete the NBA. So some of them already achieved it, and some of them are in the process, and most probably very soon they are going to complete the, these inspections. Some glimpses of Margadarshan scheme, and all these things are pretty well when the things are offline. But even then, in the COVID pandemic also, we are following all kind of things, and then we are visiting colleges with their permission. We have a strong incubation center here, Center for Innovation Entrepreneur. You can see the blue building on the right side top, which is the proposed maker space where the innovation really happens. So that innovation center is what we are calling it as a V-Hub, and which is already a registered one. And we have successfully implemented NISP policy and active member of IAC and some business incubations. And some of our students already started the companies, and they are in the in their part. And the main asset of this particular college is IQAC cell, which is headed by Professor Nageshwar sir and his team. And it started in 2012, and slowly it has moved to almost a decade back. It started, and slowly the cell has got its own setup and strengths in that particular one. So wherever we have I request you to mute. Yes, thank you. So policies and audits, all the things are really happen through this IQAC cell. Yeah, so this is, we have a strong library session. We have a library, and this is a small information about the library, because these things are very, very important when you really look at the NBA. So that's the reason I'm just showing the couple of glimpses for the library as well as information center. So these numbers really talk about how many books and how many titles, the seating capacity and areas of all these things. So when time permits, the faculty members who are online, when time permits, I request at some time you can come and visit our college. So that's all from my side for this particular inaugural session. I just would like to share some of my thoughts on this particular OBE as well as about the college. And thank you. Over to Jayalakshmi.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your knowledge. And now, once again, I welcome Dr. J.V.R. Ravindra, sir, to start the session.
Just give me 2 minutes time. I just have to switch on my another PPT. Just give me 2 minutes time.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So hope you can see my PPT.
Yes, sir.
Right. So once again, thank you very much. So let me begin this. So I'll be talking about OBE framework, essence of accreditation, benefits of vision, mission, and PEOs. Okay. The framework here is very, very important. Actually, the OBE is outcome-based education. So when I'm talking about outcome-based education, it is meaningless if I don't give the outcomes of my talk. So that means at the end of this particular session, what actually you are going to learn, also I'm going to say about it. Okay. So overall, this is the talk of my, this is the talk. So let me just talk about OBE framework and essence of accreditation. So benefits of vision and mission, and please understand that the vision and mission statements must be different from institutional as well as the department, but they should be in line. Okay. Most of you know about all those things, but I request you to concentrate in all of them because there are some micro level points that I'm going to really address today. See, the only part is whenever you write the vision and mission statements, people don't say that the vision is wrong or mission is wrong. You can write any statement, as you like for the department as well as the institution. But only the point that what we have to understand is that whenever you write any vision and mission statements, are they achievable or not? Okay, so that is what actually the first one. And the vision and mission statement should not be in general, right? So I'm going to show some examples to you, and no committee will say that the vision and mission statements are wrong, but perhaps they normally look at that whether they are in line or whether they are talking about a narrow level point or not. And apart from that, the core values as well as the quality policy is also important. So this is what actually the main idea. And I'll be talking about program educational objectives. Here, O means objective, not outcome. So PEOs. Though the last point, the outcomes are not there in my particular thing, but I just would like to give you a glimpse of these POs, PSOs, and COs, that program outcomes and program specific outcomes as well as course outcomes. Because my fellow colleagues that they'll be anyway talking about POs, PSOs, and the course outcomes in detail. But just give me some time to talk about this outcome. So therefore, this is going to be the whole picture of it. Okay. So that's what actually the main point. All right. So these are the 4 points that you will be understanding at the end of my session. So what is NBA? Why accreditation is needed? Why accreditation is well needed nowadays, and why every education is talking about the NBA NAC? Because they have their own advantages. So then the second point is writing of vision as well as mission statements, and what are program educational objectives, and by the way, what are outcomes? So these are the 4 points that we are going to learn at the end of my session. Anyway, this particular slide talks about OBE framework because I just have to move front and back to give you the final glimpse of this particular chart, where I have some kind of the boxes, and because there are so many things that actually we have to really understand, and this is a well-known flow chart that you will get it in the in the internet or even in the NBA site also. And I picked up some of the slides from NBA portal. So many thanks to the people who have really prepared those slides. I just would like to acknowledge them. So basically how this particular process is start. So we must clearly understand that who are the stakeholders and what kind of the inputs that they're going to give to the department. So department does not mean that the faculty in that particular center. Let us talk about EC. It's not that only head of the department as well as some fellow colleagues who runs particular department. But always we have to keep in mind that who is going to give the inputs to that particular department. So at some instances, even students will give the inputs. Students will tell you that what kind of the programs can be conducted, seriously. And faculty will give the inputs. Parents will give the inputs. Industry will give the inputs. Alumni give the inputs, right? And employees will give the input. So these kind of the inputs, normally we have to take it, and in line with our curriculum, we have to involve those inputs, and we have to prepare a nice flow chart or a nice curriculum. So out of these 6 or 7, what I said, the committees, I would say them, they're normally called as stakeholders. And you must also understand that the difference between the customer and the stakeholder. Okay, so there is a hair gap difference between them. So when they're not our customers, please understand, they're our stakeholders. So customers normally mean that they are not involved in the process, but whereas the stakeholders, they involve in the process. That means I'm just using a computer here. Let's say that Apple computer, I'm using it. I'm a customer of Apple because Apple did not call me for any reason to understand or to explain the entire process of designing this particular computer, because they didn't explain me. So I'm not involving in that. I'm not in the process of designing that particular computer. But whereas, so that's the reason I'm calling myself as the customer to the particular company. But whereas, if you look at your department curriculum, right? So all these people are seriously involved in it, because sometimes you need to talk about your alumni, right? Sometimes you need to talk about your parents, industry, whatnot. So all of them, this entire thing, we have to look at it, and that inputs and feedback that we have to take it. So that is given to the your vision and mission of your department. So institution, program, as well as course. So this is actually the point is. So institution will have vision and mission. And suppose let us say that your institution vision is to go to moon, right? Or go to a planet, right? But your department vision is something else. So that means your institution has some vision and the department has some other vision, which is not in line with the institution vision. So therefore, whenever you prepare your students from that particular department, these students will not achieve the final vision, because you are guiding them, the students, in a different way, and your institution has some other vision. So therefore, all these mission statements always in line with this. And they must also be with the program educational objective. You must excuse me at this particular stage, because I'm not ready to explain what are PEOs at this moment, because to understand the PEOs, we need to understand certain other things. So therefore, I'll just go in a sequence so that finally we'll understand what are the PEOs. And student outcomes, right? And course learning outcomes, which are normally called as course outcomes. So this is a kind of a structure that we have. And we should also, it's not that whenever you just teach a particular course, we have to always look at the improvements in that. So those improvements, normally we get it from the assessment. So therefore, these are the two eyes of the department. So teaching as well as learning. At the same time, assessing the students is also very, very important. So once you teach them, if you don't assess, you will never understand that what they have learned. Right. So because this is a very broad picture, so let me just talk about the engineering programs in India. So these programs normally offered as per the regulations of the AICTE. So we have to follow the AICTE rules and regulations to start a particular engineering college or to run a particular program. So in the programs also, what kind of syllabus that you have, curriculum. So they have given some regulations. So with that particular regulations, normally every engineering college, will run in their the programs. All right. But of course, there are some universities which are, of course, they are still under the umbrella of AICTE, but they have a privilege to run their own programs. So these programs are normally broadly, you can look at them in the two categories, tier 1 and tier 2. So academically autonomous, underline academically autonomous, okay, and academically non-autonomous. So at present, almost all 15% of the engineering colleges are autonomous at present. So this is actually the status of the
engineering colleges, but please understand that they are academically autonomous. So therefore, most of because if you look at Vardhaman College of Engineering, we are still under the umbrella of JNTU. That's our parent university. So we will be given some provision to have our own curriculum, to have our own assessment, but still the certificates and other things will be given by the parent university. So let me just give you a glimpse of what is NBA and who are they and what do they do and all other things. So National Board of Accreditation is established in 1994 under Section 10U of AICTE Act, and this has become autonomous. NBA has become autonomous in 2010. The Memorandum of Association and Rules of NBA were amended in April 2013 to make it administratively as well as financially independent of AICTE. So therefore, this works parallel with AICTE, but still, of course, still they follow the rules and regulations of AICTE. And this is actually one accreditation unit in India, but similarly, there are several accreditation units or consortiums, you can say, all over the world. And one such the accreditation unit is Washington Accord, and this has become a permanent member in 2014. So since 2015, the engineering programs are conducted in the framework of OBE, outcome-based education, because they wanted to make this outcome-based education uniform in all over the India. That means that that particular program is recognized by any university in the world. I would give you one example at this moment that, let us say that the two students, one of them received a bachelor's degree from a prominent institute, and one of them received a bachelor's degree from a private engineering college, let us say. So when both of them applied for a job, or both of them applied for a university in US, let's say, for their master's program, how do they understand? So how that particular engineering college or the university understand the standards of these two certificates? So there must be one technical consulting who has to really look into the curriculum and the entire process of these two colleges. So when I say that both of them are following OBE framework, then I would treat these two certificates up with equal value. You please understand that I'm talking about the standards of the certificates, and I'm not talking about the intellectual knowledge of a particular person. So a person who received his bachelor's degree from a prominent engineering college may not be able to get a job because of his less IQ. And similarly, a person with a tremendous IQ levels from a private engineering college can get a good job. So I'm not talking about the intellectual percentage of the students, right? How much IQ levels they have, but I'm talking about specifically the standards of the certificates. So when I look at that particular certificate, I would see that both the colleges are NBA accredited under Tier 1. So I would really treat both the certificates in the same way. But of course, there are some other factors which will really comes in a later stage. So the important point is that it's a quality assurance. That's what I was talking about. Okay, the accreditation is a process of quality assurance and improvement, whereby a program in an approved institution is critically appraised. So there will be a committee here. So that committee normally look at each and every point. I'm going to tell what kind of things they look at it in my next slides. Okay. So critically they look at each and every point, how this particular OBE is practiced. That's what my colleagues were talking that true sense. So you have to really implement in the true sense. So please understand that there are certain things in our life which normally we call them as short-term goals as well as long-term goals. OBE is a long-term goal. Okay, so that's what my experience really says. That means that if you practice today, you don't get the fruits tomorrow. Okay, it takes some time. So you must have a lot of patience in implementing that OBE, and you must have a lot of patience in implementing that long-term goal. So when I say that both of them are following OBE Okay, so how to implement, that's what you're going to learn in the next 7 days. So that's what people are calling it as a true sense. So we must have a lot of patience with that. So start implementing it from the day one. So that's what critically appraised. So every stage you have to really look into that. And then whenever we go to the class and once we come out of the class, we have to really understand that what is the outcome of my class. So did I really give everything what they want? It's not that what I know I'm going to teach. What they have to know when they come to the industry, that's what actually you have to really teach them. So that's what critically appraised. So all these things are very, very micro, as well as I would say at nano level also. You have to really look at them. So this is a kind of recognition which indicates that a program or institution fulfills certain standards. So that's what I was talking to you. And you must also understand that NBA is not for at the institution level, but it is at the program level. That means every program, suppose if the Department of ACE follows all these standards, certain standards, so NBA will accredit that it is a good. But at the same time, if the other department is not doing it, they may not accredit that. So it normally goes with the program. But whereas at the NAC, if you see, that's the institution level. Okay. So, and this particular thing we must also understand. That's what if you can recollect my first statement, what I have given with respect to the vision and mission statements. Okay. So in line with, I have some other points here. So this particular NBA, they are not here to find the faults with the institution. They don't policing you, right? So they don't really say that this is wrong and this is correct. Why did you do that? And why? How can you do that? So this is not the essence of it, basically. Okay. So then, what is the essence of this particular one? If you write something, they may tell you the better way of writing it. Okay. Suppose you have a vision, right? So you say that I'm going to show certain examples to you here. You can really say that, as I said just now, that my vision is to prepare my students in cutting edge technologies. This is a very broad statement. So, but you can write better than this. So cutting edge technologies in the sense, what exactly you're talking about. So to assess the statue ante of the performance. So that statue, that status is always important. So they're not degenerate of the working style of the institution and its programs, but to provide the feedback on strengths and weakness. This is very, very important. And you please also understand that this kind of the strengths and weakness, SWOT analysis we normally say, strength, weakness, opportunities and challenges. Earlier it was called SWOT, threats, but now we change it to challenges. So every department, every system will have its strengths and weaknesses. Let us forget about the strengths. Okay, but if someone comes here and tells me that, sir, this is actually the weakness of the system, then I will really look into that. Is it really a weakness and can I overcome that? So the weakness that you have in the last 5 years should become strengths of your department in the next 5 years. And there are certain things that you can't change it. Suppose let us say that your institution is far from the city, 60 kilometers from the city. You can't do that. So that's a weakness. That's a permanent weakness. So fine, if certain things are there, but I cannot really help it. So that's the reason I would normally say that rather than provide feedback, I would say that positive feedback. If someone gives me that kind of positive feedback, I'll be really happy. So those weakness, you have to convert them into the strengths. And of course, there are some other things which we call it as opportunities as well as challenges. Everything that you have to really grab them. It's not to demarcate the boundaries of quality, but to offer sensitizing process for continuous improvement in quality provisions. So it's not demarcate the boundaries of quality. So you say that, so if you maintain like this, this is the quality. And suppose you have to maintain certain things like this. So they don't really demarcate the boundaries, but always, that's the reason we normally say that there is a cell that always thinks about this. That's what you call IQS, internal quality and assurance. They have to really give the assurance. I'm sorry. and but to offer sensitizing process for continuous improvement in quality provisions. This is actually PO 12 it talks about. Sorry, once again, continuous learning and continuous lifelong learning, continuous improvement. So such kind of thing. So therefore, you cannot say that there is a benchmark for it. Okay. So normally you keep threshold because you have to maintain the quality above a particular standard, but normally we don't keep at the upper level. So they don't really do it. Not to select only institutions of national excellence, okay, but to provide benchmarks of excellence and identification good practices. So if you look at NAC, book as well as NBA book, which you normally see in the internet of their respective websites. So they normally mention the good practices that, which engineering college is maintaining which kind of the practice. So that they have given a, wide varieties of good practices. So what I personally feel is if something is good, copy it. Okay. So you are always, of course, you just have to look at the acknowledgements and other things. But if something is really good, definitely I have no problem in copying it because that's a good practice. If someone is doing already some kind of the practice and they have achieved certain things, why can't we implement the same thing at our institution and why can't we do that? Some IIT is doing some kind of the research, right? Research practice. I'm not asking you to copy the research, which I cannot say, right? But to brought that particular research into the limelight, let us say that they have done a good practice. They have created a kind of awareness in the students. So if that is good, take it and implement it, right? So that kind of the practices, identification of good practices, they tell you that, hey, look, this is a good practice in your institution, right? And at this particular point, you can improve yourself. Okay, so that way they do it. So it's a very generic process wherein they always give you the feedback about it. Why this kind of the micro level tinkering is required? Because whoever that we are generating it, those students are coming into the market and they are going to live in the society and they are the people who are going to design a lot of things which are really helpful to the society. So because of that, this kind of the feedback is well required to a department as well as to an institution so that we can change our thoughts and we can really provide good students, right, to the industry. So this academia industry gap is there right from, even I first time I listened this kind of the, word in 2003 and 2004. It's been almost 18, 19 years back. That was the first time I heard that there is something, a gap between industry and academia. Still, I remember in Usmania University when I was doing my bachelor's there, though the top companies like TCS, Infosys, they come to the university and they used to recruit the students. But after that, after finally a second semester, once the student gets graduated, the industry is to still give the training to that. So that means that this particular boy or a girl join in that particular company and the company used to give the training, right, for about 6 or 7 months. And then they have to, and then they were called as a full-time employees. But you can't expect these kind of the situations nowadays because whatever the training that the industry is expecting it, such kind of the training you have to give it to your students. Either you give them, beyond the class hours, or you give them, or you bring that particular thing, enter into your curriculum. That all depends on our curriculum point, but still the industry is expecting like that. So what I mean to say from this particular point is that if someone can tell me that these are the things that I have to do it, definitely, we will involve all of these things in our curriculum in line with AICTE and other things so that, we can make the students industry ready. So what are these benefits? Anyway, I was just talking about the same thing more or less. Facilitates continuous quality improvement. This is very, very important. Even this is also suitable for our personal life also. Okay, because most of the time that we don't want to update ourselves, right? But that should not be done. So that kind of, even you let us don't take these statements in the department wise, but if you look at this kind of the situation, this is also suitable for our personal growth. Okay, so continuous quality improvement. So I taught a course in the last semester. So now I'm teaching the same course. Do I have any improvement in that? Okay, so what kind of the improvement? So did I make them to solve more number of problems in the class? So if I improve my quality, obviously I try to change my students also. But if I'm teaching the same content, right, probably because my delivery will also be in the same way. So that kind of continuous quality improvement must also be there. Demonstrates accountability to the public. So this is what I was talking about, the example what I've given, in for the last slide. So what kind of students that you are preparing for the society? Okay, are you preparing good students? So therefore you are really accountable to the society as well as public. So this also improves the staff morale, right? Of course, yes. So recognize the achievements as well as innovations, because whenever I see a growth in myself, then I will be very, very happy. And let it be in terms of, achievements does not mean always hike in the salary. Okay, so that shouldn't be the case. So, but achievements several, because if I update myself in the cutting edge technologies, I can really make my students to work at industry oriented projects that may lead to some kind of the innovations, so that your students can become entrepreneurs. So they will become job providers than job seekers. So this is what I would really see. A small step from your end will give you a very big step, a huge step at the output. So that's what I said, that this OBE is like a it's a long term, right? So I start OBE today and I don't see anything tomorrow. Frankly, that's what my experience is, right? So it really takes probably 3 to 4 semesters to understand the outcome of the OBE. So innovations and all other things, and facilitates information sharing. So this is also very important, because people really expect you to do a lot of things. You look at criteria 4 in NBA, where student achievements are there. Student achievements as well as criteria 4 and 5 are the very, very important in terms of the NBA. Forget about whether we get the accreditation by NBA or not, but overall, if you look at it, the 4 and 5 are the most important one. Faculty achievements as well as student contributions, 5 and 4, and where a lot of information can be shared, right? So a kind of innovations can take place and research can take place, whatnot, a lot of things. And help the institutes to understand strength, weakness, opportunities, and challenges. Someone should be there to tell me what are my strengths and what are my weakness. So sometimes I feel that something is my strength, but if you look at in other angle, that's going to be your weakness also. Okay, people normally say that family is my strength as well as it's my weakness. Why? When you say that it is strength, why are you saying it is weakness? So there must be a kind of a demarcation that you have to really look at that. What is your strength and what is your weakness? So promotes intra as well as inter-institutional interactions. This is also very, very important. And of course, this is in line with the NEP also. National Education Policy 2020. People are now talking about this NEP all over India, where multidisciplinary activities should begin. Of course, we have really started, but it has to go in a stronger as well as a faster way. This is a simple SAR, so self-assessment report. Okay, so which normally we have to fill it before you get the OBE. So it's a compilation of such data and information pertaining to a given program and its assessment. Okay, accomplishments of NBA defined POs as well as PSOs of the program. So normally this SAR consists of 2 parts. One is institutional as well as which normally we call it as a departmental information. And part 2 talks about all the criteria. You have 10 criteria there. And I'll tell you what are those 10 criteria. Most of you, because if you are a part of this NBA already and if you are already practicing it, You must know all these 10 criteria. If you are a head of the department as well as at the senior level of the department as a professor or associate professors, you must really understand all the 10 criteria. Okay, out of 10, 3 are at the institution level and 7 are at the department level. Okay, but if you are a novice, right? If you really just started your teaching profession, then probably you need to concentrate at some of them. Okay, not really all, but at least some of them you have to really concentrate. Basically, your your thing will come into at criteria 5. So contributions, right? So PEOs, PSOs, curriculum, student performance, faculty contributions, facilities, and technical support, academic support, teaching learning process, governance, financial resources, continuous improvement. So all these things, the systematic way of doing all these points. Yes. So as I said just now that there are two parts that normally this NBA looks into any engineering college. So tier 1 and tier 2. So tier 1 is normally for autonomous colleges, whereas tier 2 is for non-autonomous colleges. And I'm emphasizing academically autonomous. Please understand that. Okay. So when I say academically autonomous, then we will never get a doubt that is it a university or a college. So when I simply say autonomous, then a university also autonomous. Okay. So they have a privilege at all levels. But normally I don't have any privilege. I don't have any privilege to start my course because I'm still because there is a committee which always looks at me, AICTE, right? And there is another university which also looks at me. So that's the reason I'm saying that academically autonomous. Okay. All right. So if you look at this, so vision, mission, and program educational objectives, I talk about the criteria 1, right? So for every department, the vision, mission are very, very important because what they want, right? And how do you achieve this? So to tell you a simple vision of my life is, I'm just giving an example. So I'm saying that my vision is to land on moon. Okay, so that's my vision. So my mission statement should inline with that vision, is it not? So I wanted to go to moon, right? So, but what I'm doing, I'm not doing anything towards it, right? So I didn't learn any course there. I didn't learn, any kind of, astrological things there. I'm not working towards it. Then why is that vision and what are your mission statements? So whenever you set a goal, are you working towards it? I want to become an IAS officer, but I'm not writing civil services. So the vision and mission. So what is your dream and what is your goal and how are you achieving that particular goal? What are the steps that you would like to bring it to them? So that's actually vision and mission statements. And program educational objectives, as I said, just to give me some more time that I'll address it. So once you have a vision as well as mission of your department, because NBA normally talks about the department, so therefore let me specific to that. Do I have a curriculum to reach that vision and mission? Okay, so do I have a curriculum? If I don't have a curriculum, just prepare it. Let us prepare one curriculum. How do I prepare a curriculum? From the stakeholders, right? As a head of the department, you cannot just prepare, semester 1 to semester 8, and we cannot keep the courses just like that. So whenever I just would like to start a particular course, there must be some kind of the feedback should happen. So I wanted to start a course called TV engineering, television engineering, which is a ECE course, okay, which I have studied in 98. Those days it is very, very famous, okay, in Osman University. And we have a TV engineering lab also, right? So we were taken to that particular lab and the entire TV was opened. It's not LED or LCD, it's a CRT TV, a very big TV, which weight is almost 60 to 70 kilos. And we have opened it. and we have seen how that CRT works and everything. Fine, so good. And we have good knowledge in it. But can I keep that course now? So immediately people ask me that, so where are you using that? Why that particular thing is required? And I don't see any CRT based TVs even at the shops also. So therefore industry don't require it. Then why are we teaching it? So whenever you prepare the curriculum, make sure that we have to follow in line with AICTE model curriculum, and we are given 160 credits there, and out of 160 credits there are some credits which by default we are fixing them, right? You need to teach maths, physics, chemistry, and then engineering workshop, this, that, core courses, and all these things are fixed. So I would say that out of 160 credits, almost 100 credits are fixed. Now you have a provision for 60 credits. So 60 credits, or let us say that some 56 to 60 credits, where you have to really bring professional core and professional electives. So that's how you have to design the course, where industry-oriented courses we can design at professional electives. So that's what actually we are doing it at Vardhaman. So these courses definitely in line with our vision and mission statements. Okay. So, and how are we doing the teaching and learning process? You have flexibility at professional electives only. So rest of the thing, we don't have any flexibility. Okay. So once you have the entire curriculum, now I have several courses. For each and every course, there must be some outcome. So that's what criteria 3 talks about. So if you look at from 1 to 7, there is a beautiful connection that is involved in these criteria. Okay, so they don't just wrote as they like it. So once you have a good vision and mission, prepare a vision and mission. I want my students to become IAS officers. So that is your vision, right? You have a mission, and for that particular vision, you write down the program curriculum. So what are the courses that you can teach so that your students will reach that vision? So it's not that just selecting those courses, but every course will have some kind of the outcome, right? So let us say that in that particular vision that, I want to make my students IAS officers. Good, very good. So I have designed the curriculum also. But what kind of the courses that you're doing it? So are these courses in line with your vision? Think about it. So if that is the case, then you have chosen good number of courses. But when I come to the engineering thing, then I would really say that you have more and more provision at that program professional electives. So look at outcomes of each and every course, right? In line with the program outcomes. Program outcomes are 12, which are fixed. Okay, you cannot do anything there. So I'll tell you what are those 12 program outcomes, POs. Normally we call them as POs. So now what happened? You have a vision mission, you have a wonderful program curriculum, and you have wonderful courses, and all these courses have beautiful outcomes, but we don't have students. Okay, fails, the entire system collapse. Or we have students, but they're not performing well. No, you cannot leave that. So again, you have to really look at all of your students who have to indeed perform very, very well. So in this particular performance, I'm not talking about only the student performance in that particular courses, but I'm talking about overall performance of the student. Okay, you please understand that a particular student must be an all-rounder. That means your department activities, right? Your department activities should really enrich the student's life in all parts. It's not just in studies. It's not that all of your 60 students in a particular department, assuming that you have only one section, all 60 have got 10 out of 10 CGPA, but they can't even, they don't have communication skills, or they haven't participated anywhere outside world. So that's not the point. So it's an overall performance of the student. So how many skill development courses that you have conducted, and how many papers that they have written. So did you bring research into their curriculum? Okay. So how many internships that they have done, and how many times they played sports, and do you have any students who are international players? So it's an overall performance. Okay. So far so good. But as I said just now, that one of the important stakeholders of the department is faculty. Is it not? Because student and faculty, that's what I said, criteria 4 and 5 are very, very important. Forget about, for the time being, if you forget about MBA, right? But for every engineering college, the 4 and 5 are very important. Is it not? Right? Because students are important, faculty are important. So, and this faculty should always on their toes to give a good inputs to the students, because these are the guys and these are the people and these are the respected people who always talks about the course curriculum and what kind of the inputs. Because once when you are preparing 1, 2, 3 criterias, the faculty are also involved. It's not that someone will give you vision, mission, program, curriculum, and course outcomes. No, because you have to sit down and you have to prepare it. That's what I said, that it's a long-term goal and takes a lot of time. So these faculty know each and everything of the criteria 1, 2, 3, right? So just a minute. Okay, so this faculty, they know everything about it. So, and what exactly they are doing it and what is their contribution. The contribution, again, it's not in terms of the students. That means that I have taken a course, let's say signals and systems, I've taken a course and I made all my students to clear that particular course. That's not my contribution. Contribution to the department has a broader picture. So how are you contributing it? So how many labs that you have taken it? Okay. How many faculty development programs that you have attended? A faculty must also attend several development programs, because that's where he can understand about what's happening at the other institutions. And this is always like, knowledge sharing part. And they must also be a part of a professional societies, because unless otherwise they are in the professional societies, they will never understand whatever I say, that the edge technologies which normally happen all over the world. Okay, so, and I'm due regards to everybody. I'm very sorry if I say this particular word, but you need to excuse me before I just say this word, that some of the faculty members, right, they are going to retire as and when they complete the PhD. That's it. Right? So as soon as they get the PhD, they are stopping the research. But please kindly understand that your research begins once you get your PhD, because that's where you are allowed to think more. When you are working under a particular professor, please understand that you are still under the umbrella of that particular professor. You are still implementing his thoughts. He has given a problem statement and you are implementing that problem statement. Suppose you cannot design your own problem statement while you are working for the PhD, and you get that particular provision once you are done with the PhD, then your research skills must be really broader. And that's where you have to begin your research. So the research contributions should begin just after your PhD, because you normally spend 5 to 6 years with your professor and with the university, and he will share a lot of things with you, isn't it? That's what, it happened to me. Almost I'll spend some 7 to 8 years in IIIT, and then, my professor is my God. He has shared a lot of things, but I always implemented whatever that he says. But once I'm done with my PhD, I have really broadened my research areas. That's what, one has to really do it. That's what we have to contribute to the department. How many journal papers that we have written, how many conferences that you have attended. Of course, in the pandemic situations, everything is now happening virtually, but if time permits and if the system permits, then you have to really ask, your institution to present yourself or to present a work outside the India, and you have to meet several people. Right. That's what, international collaboration. That's also very, very important. And how many book chapters that you have written, and how many books you have written, how many patents. So all these things will come into the faculty information and contribution. And all these things will help your students. Suppose if you have written a patent, will not be helpful for a student? Definitely yes. Okay, so that's what. So vision, mission, program curriculum. You have a strong program curriculum, and inside the program curriculum means nothing but the courses, and those courses will also have outcomes, and then how your students are performing it, how your faculty are doing it, and you have all these things, but you don't have facilities. Okay, you don't have pen, pencil, blackboard, ICT tools. No, this is actually the institute should provide all these things, the facilities as well as the technical support. So all these things must be there. So that's what actually the six. That's the reason if you look at carefully, of course 3, 4, 5 are very, very important. But look at the 5, how many marks that it has, 200 marks it has almost. So, and facilities and technical support, because when they construct an engineering college, facilities will be automatically given. Okay, so therefore there shouldn't be much deal with that. But technical support is very, very important nowadays. In this pandemic situations, people are expecting iPads and tabs must be given, but one has to really have them personally. And barring them, that's what I said, continuous improvement. So from last semester to this semester, last semester I taught signals and systems. This semester, next year also you please teach the same thing. And even next also you do the same thing. 3 years you teach the same course. Then you will really understand the improvement in your delivery also. Because NBA, suppose let us say that NBA accreditation is for 3 years as well as for 6 years. I also give you that information. So it can be for 3 years, it can also be for 6 years. So let us say that we got it for 3 years. Okay. So it is expected that you have to teach a particular course for 3 years. Then you will see the improvement. Otherwise, every year if you change it, then, but sometimes, I have even heard that a faculty wants to learn a course, so therefore he's going to teach a course. No. We cannot play with the students' life. So you have to thoroughly learn and then we have to teach. It's not that to just teach a particular course or to learn a particular course you wanted to teach. No. Okay. So these 7 are at the program level. Program in the sense department level. And there are 3 things which are at the institute level. So if you look at this vision, mission statements, they are normally at the second year, third year, and the final year. So therefore, at the institute level, we have the other 3 things, which is nothing but first year academics. They deal first year academics separately. Student support systems. Okay, so the entire supporting systems for the students, like there are a lot of things: anti-ragging, grievances, lots of things. Normally, the head of the institution will really look at all these points, and governance and institutional support and financial resources, most like in terms of the budget and all other things. Okay, and this is very, very important because that's the reason it has 120 marks. So if I look at the tier 1 and tier 2 at these 2, okay, hope you understand how they were built, the criteria from 1 to 7. There is a beautiful way of forming that 1 to 7. So if you remember like this, you will never forget them. Okay, so vision, mission, and just go down. Vision, mission is a broader picture. Then come down, program curriculum, courses, students, faculty, facilities, improvement. That's it. So in tier 1, almost all same, but at some instances, one has less, one particular column has less and the other one has more. And program curriculum, so it is 100 and here it is 120 and 175 course outcomes, and it is 120 and 100 and 150. So 200, 200. In both the cases, faculty contributions are very, very important. Whether you belong to autonomous or non-autonomous, faculty is expected at a higher rate. Okay, and facilities must be given uniformly, whether you comes in autonomous or non-autonomous, and you must have a continuous improvement whether you belong to autonomous or non-autonomous. And first year academics, student support, as well as grievances. So this is basically about the criteria. So if I look at the nature of the criteria, okay, if I look at the nature of the criteria, so criteria 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8 are related to vision, missions. That's what of the institution as well as department. Design of curriculum, learning activities, attainment of the outcomes. I'm not going to talk about attainment because it's a very big word, very, very big word. So once it's not that you just have to write down the outcomes. Okay, my course outcome is I'm going to teach a signals and systems, right? So my outcome is at the end of my course, every student should do a project. Okay, second outcome, they have to complete this particular project in multisim or MATLAB. But MATLAB is not taught in the course. Then how do you expect that outcome? Okay, so it's not that simply writing the outcomes. So attainment of the outcomes is also very, very important. And one of my fellow colleague is going to talk about attainments. And so therefore, I'm not going to stress. I just stress the importance of the attainment, but I'm not going to talk about the attainment of outcomes. Okay, so you have course outcomes as well as program outcomes. So that's what there is a map, articulation matrix. So many buzzwords are going to come, and that you can really understand in the next classes or next sessions. And process of continuous improvement. So how that continuous improvement is really doing it, and knowledge sharing is also very important. So criteria 4, 5, which is nothing but students, faculty, facilities, and 9 and 10, which are at the institution level, are related to data on the student performance, faculty, facilities, and student support system, and governance and management. Governance and management is also playing a major role in designing this. Information regarding all the criteria is to be presented for 2 graduated batches. Okay. Yes, this is a simple slide that under what conditions you get tier 1 and under what conditions you get tier 2. So normally for each and every criteria, okay, so let me just go back to the marks. Here you look at the marks, 50, 100, 175, and 100, 200, 80, 50, okay. So based on these marks, if you get 75% of the marks, Y grade will be given. Y means no concern, okay. So that means they have no problem if you get more than 75, okay. So if you get C there, that means you have a concern. So when will they give C? If the percentage of the marks, suppose you take faculty contributions is for 200 marks. So you have to get 75% of 200. Okay, that means 150, I suppose, right? So you should get more than 150 marks. So there is a way of calculating it. I'm not going to talk about filling of SAR because I'm talking about the criteria, and there is something called sub-criteria also. Sub in the sense inside. So in criteria 5, there are so many sub points. So putting all them together, you need to get more than 75% or more greater than or equal to. And I have a concern if you have 60 to 75. And we are weak in that particular criteria if the marks are between 40 to 60. And it is deficiency if you have less than 40 marks. Okay. So is it not? Because less than 40 marks fail, right? That's what, we normally do it in our college. So any student, if he gets less than 40 marks out of 100, is failed. So they're not saying fail because they are not the people to find the fault. So they simply say that there is a deficiency. Please understand the positivity in these words. Okay. So they're not saying that you are failed, right? No, we are not failed. There is a deficiency in that particular criteria. That's the reason you got less than 40 marks. So improve the deficiency and come to C or Y, then we can go ahead. And you get 6 years accreditation if you achieve this. If you get 3 years accreditation if you achieve this. That means, look at it, number of Ys greater than or equal to 7 out of 10, because there are 10 criterias. In 10 criterias, 7 criterias you have to get more than 75%. Okay, and remaining 3 must be concerns. So you should not have any weakness. You should not have any deficiency. That means you got 9 criterias Y, but 1 criteria you have a deficiency. You will not get it for 6 years. You please understand. Okay, so even you don't get it for 3 years also. If you have deficiency, we don't get it anywhere. Okay, right? So they have a conditional accreditation is also there. They'll give you conditional accreditation if you have any deficiency at any point. So enrollment of the students must be 75. I'm sorry, this must be greater than or equal to 75. Yeah, it is correct only. So students 75, it should be more than 75, and number of PhDs greater than 30%. So maintaining 30% of the PhDs, it means if you have, say, 20 faculty, and out of 20 faculty, 6 faculty, more than 6 faculty must have PhDs. So then you can aim it for 6 years. But forget about that 6 years, at least, we can aim it for 3 years. So number of Ys greater than or equal to 7, number of Sikhs less than or equal to 2, weakness less than or equal to 2, no deficiency. But here there is another condition. In faculty information and contribution should not have any weakness. That means in criteria 5, you should not get W. Either you should get Y or you should get C. Okay. So they don't give even accreditation. They don't give even accreditation if this is the case. Okay. A deficiency is greater than 2, number of Ys less than 4, or deficiency in C5, non-availability of 2 professors and 1 professor and 1 associate professor. Okay, so we don't get any kind of accreditation. That means if you are not getting the accreditation, that means we are not doing good. Okay, right. So for 6 years, if you are really looking at, so 750 marks, 750 points out of 1000, and minimum 60% of the points in 4, 5, 6. 30% required faculty shall be PhDs. So if it is a provisional accreditation for 3 years, then you should get 600 out of 1000 points, and with 40% of the marks in criteria 5, and at least 1 professor and 1 associate professors. I think most of the departments are maintaining professors and associate professors here, but only the challenge is contributions. Okay, so that's the reason we have to always encourage our faculty to contribute it. So that's the reason normally what I say is you have normally 3 baskets. Okay, 3 baskets. So the first one is academics, the second one is research, the third one is administration. So every faculty should be a part of all these 3. Okay, so when you are growing up, so the content in the baskets may go up and down. That means if you just start your teaching profession with MTech, you need to have more academics, less research, okay, and 0 administration. Normally, you don't really get into the administration of all the things. People don't really expect that. But as you are growing in the department, as you are growing even in the A's also, then academics and research baskets should go simultaneously, and slowly you have to understand the administration. So once you are done with the PhD, you, rather than taking 2 courses, you may take 1 course, and you have to take the research to the extremes, where you are expected to publish, at least 7 to 10 papers per year, books, patents, and all other things. So, and then you need to also look at the administration, because already you have enough experience in academics. So knowledge sharing can also always be possible. You can transmit the knowledge to your juniors so that, they do very well. So that's how, the contributions will come into the existence. Okay. Just running out of time. So now let's understand the outcomes. Okay. So what exactly an outcome is? Outcome of an education is what the student should be able to do at the end of the program course instructional unit. That's what I said. So at the end of my session, that you will really understand what is NBA and what are the criterias, and how to write a vision, mission statements, all of the things. So for everything in our life, there must be some outcome. Okay, so there must be some objective, outcome. What is objective? Objective is nothing but a short-term goal. Okay, so loosely speaking, it's a short-term goal. Don't bring the long-term goals here. I wanted to have 100 crores as my bank balance. I'm just taking it for fun. Okay, so 100 crores as a bank balance in 2050. Now, which year now? 2021. That means you're talking about after 30 years. After 30 years, that's not the objective. Okay, so which looks like a short-term goal. You may have that goal as a long-term goal. Very good. Everybody will have that kind of the long-term goal. Your department will also have a long-term goal. Your institute will also have a long-term goal. I wanted to make my engineering college in top 100 NIRF rank by 2026. That's a very good long-term goal. 5 years I have, but I have to work towards it. To reach that, I have to keep a short-term goal so that I can always understand whether I'm going in a right direction or not. So that's what you call it as an outcome. So OBE is an approach to education in which decisions about the curriculum are driven by the exit learning outcomes that the student should demonstrate at the end of the program or course. You have a program, you have a course also. Course in the sense that particular, normally we call them as a subject. Okay, signals and systems, digital logic design, strength of materials. People will call it as a subject. Okay, but normally in the NBA terminology, it is called a course. Okay, program means BTech. BTech is a program. BTech ECE, BTech CSE. So at the end of the program, you have program outcomes. They are 12 in number. Okay, they are fixed. You cannot change it, and we have no right to change also. And course outcomes, you can change it. So in line with the program outcomes, we have to always look at the course outcomes. So outcomes provide the basis for an effective interaction among stakeholders. So when I have a proper outcome, so whenever stakeholders comes, I'll show these outcomes. See, look, these are my outcomes. And this is what actually, I have done it. And because of this outcome, my students got placed like this. Or my students got gate ranks. Or my students went for higher education. Or my students have become entrepreneurs. So everywhere you can look at that, how the students are really doing it. So therefore, outcomes play a key role in designing it. Yes. Now this is the time to talk about PEOs. But as I said in the beginning of my presentation, I am not going to talk much about PEOs, PSOs, and COs because my friends are there. So they'll extensively talk about POs, PSOs, and COs, and they also tell you how to write that COs because there is something called Bloom's taxonomy. So based on that particular taxonomy, you just have to look at the keywords, and based on the keywords, you need to really take them into the picture. But I just give the essence here. Okay. So PEOs are broad statements, very broad statements that describe the career and professional accomplishments in 4 to 5 years after graduation that the program is preparing graduates to achieve. Normally, these PEOs, you get it from the alumni as well as the entrepreneurs or industry. So existing students, the current students cannot help to do this because you please understand that professional accomplishments in 4 to 5 years, that means what? I have trained 60 students, right? Okay. So I have a vision mission statements, and what is my vision mission statement? I wanted to make them as IAS officers, all my 60 students. That's my vision. And I've done extensively good. And I have my, program outcomes. I have everything. Everything is in line. Fantastically, I have done it. And my students got graduated, right? And let us say that they graduated in 2016. Okay. So I called them after 4 years. That means in 2020 and 2021, I called them and I have seen them that what they are doing in their society. Okay. So their career and professional accomplishments. So what they have done, and most of them settled in the other jobs. So something went wrong here. So program educational objectives, it's not in line with what actually your vision, mission, program outcomes and everything. There's something messed up here. So after graduation, 4 to 5 years of after graduation, that the program is preparing graduates to achieve. So what exactly they're doing it? So that means you have to be in contact with your students for the lifetime. That means that as and when they just leave the campus, you can't leave them. They may leave you. So they may think that, oh, my college is so strict. I just wanted to come out of this college and, they're not doing it. Fine, good. But please understand that alumni are not like that. When they are in the college, they may scold us. But when they go outside, they will really understand the society and they will understand the importance of the college as well as the faculty. So you just have to really look at that. The career and professional accomplishments are most important. And 4 to 5 years after graduation. So therefore, I'm going to show some sample PEOs to you so that, we get a clarity. Then program outcomes. Nothing can be done here because NBA is already given 12 program outcomes that we have to stick to that. They are the statements describe what the students graduating from an engineering college should be able to do at the time of the graduation. So they are expecting that all of our students should have these 12. Okay. That means that at one particular stage, engineering knowledge, and use of ICT tools, lifelong. I'm just going in random. I'm not going in line. Complex engineering problems, ethics. Is it not? Our students should have ethics. That's what we normally do. That's the reason we have a course in our curriculum that human values and ethics also. The name may be different, but the content may be same in all over the India, at least for that particular course. Okay. So I have 12 program outcomes, but these 12 program outcomes may not be suitable sometimes to my students. So therefore, the NBA has given another provision to have PSOs, which are nothing but specific outcomes, maybe 2 or 3 that you have to write by your own. Okay, that means the department should write should write by their own these program specific outcomes. So specifically, other than the 12, okay. So what are the specific outcomes that you have? So PSOs are the statements that describe what the graduates of a specific engineering program should be able to do it at the time of the graduation. Almost all same. Okay. So if you look at the PO's definition as well as PSO's definition, they are almost all same. So specific engineering program. Okay. So PO's will talk about all. Okay. All in the sense BTech ECE, BTech CSE, BTech Civil Engineering, BTech Mechanical, BTech Metallurgy, BTech Pulp Technology, BTech Petroleum Engineering. You take anything, those PO's are same. But PSOs may be specific for the program. That means if I belong to ECE, I write another 2 or 3 PSOs which specifically talk about my program. Course outcomes, that's what we have been talking about. So wherein the students, the COs are the statements that describe what students should be able to do at the end of the course. Right. So just look at the POs. POs are what the graduates of the program are expected to achieve within 4 to 5 years of completing it. Can be abstract, can be very abstract, and maximum 3 to 5. So POs must follow the mission of the department offering the program, and the POs must follow the established office. So therefore, what I'm expecting is graduates of the program will have successful professional career in IT industry. Okay. Successful IT career in my IT industry. This is what XYZ College of Engineering, Department of CSE, that they have written like this. Graduate of the program will have successful professional career in IT industry. That means I have 60 students in my computer science program, and all these 60 students at the end of the final year, they got 60 jobs. That means everybody got IT industry jobs. Now they started life in the IT industry. And after 4 years, if I call them, and all 60 students are continuing IT industry only, that means my educational objective success. That means whatever that I have written, I'm doing it, because when they were doing the bachelor's program, I have given some inputs. Those inputs are there. And with those inputs only, they are really successful in the IT industry. Or graduates of the program will pursue higher studies. That means some of them, they have done 3 years, and after 3 years, some of them have gone for the higher education. Good. That is also good. Graduates of the program will develop computing systems for real life problems. That means they become entrepreneurs. So this is what I'm expecting my students to be after 5 years. Okay. That means that out of 60 students, 20 of them dropped their jobs. Okay, they're not doing anything. That means that somewhere something is going wrong. So again, you have to get the feedback from them, and accordingly you have to change your program specific outcomes, courses you have to change, because whatever the courses that you have taken have not really helped those students to continue their career in the IT industry. So therefore your courses are wrong. Okay, so therefore that means the curriculum is wrong. That means vision mission is wrong. So again, we are going back to criteria 1. So therefore, if that is not happened, the problem is with the criteria 1 and 2. So now you think, is it not a systematic? The NBA is such a systematic procedure that once you are in this, that's what, my friends told true sense, right? So in a true sense, for the day one you take up this particular, job, we have to do it in a true sense, because you get the output after a long time. So we must have a patience. Okay, so program outcomes, we can't do anything at this particular point because these are really fixed up. Okay, we have nothing to do in this. So engineering knowledge, that means your student must have engineering knowledge, right? Problem analysis, design development of solutions, conduct investigation of complex problems, modern tool uses, and this complex problem is a big thing now. Okay, this is what actually, if I get a time, probably I talk in the next time, but I'm really interested in this particular one. So modern tool uses, the engineering and society, environment and sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communication, project management and finance, and lifelong learning. Is it not that, we are expecting our students to be? Okay, so this is what actually I want to be. But because I'm a ECE professor, so I expect my students to be in chip designing. Okay, because I belong to a VLSI stream, so therefore I want my students to be in chip designing companies. That means they have to work in Apple, Sony, LG, Samsung like companies. So which program outcome really talk about it? None. Okay. So internally they may talk something. That means indirectly my statement is associated to one of two POs, but specifically it is not touching it. So therefore I can write another PSO. PSO is nothing but another PO. Okay. PSO is another PO. So you can write down 13 and 14, but don't take more than two PSOs because attainment is going to become tough, because my next sessions people talk about attainment of POs as well as COs. So therefore we cannot write another 6 or 7 there. It's going to be a big matrix and we may fail utterly. Okay, right. So in this POs, right, 5 of 12 POs are disciplinary outcomes and remaining 7 are professional outcomes. They are called skill-based outcomes. And 3 POs mention complex engineering problems. You can identify which are there. And 2 POs mention complex engineering activities. 2 POs mention contextual knowledge. And complex engineering problems, if you look at it, so they involve conflicting technical engineering other issues, have no obvious solutions. Okay, so you just have to ask your students to design a bridge. If they have 2 lakes, right, you ask them to design a bridge and you call all civil engineering students. Each student will give you one solution. Okay, so therefore, for that particular problem, you don't have any obvious solution. You don't have any specific streamlined solution, but you are opening the minds of the students. So involve diverse groups of stakeholders. Then you can ask 1 or 2 industries to come to the college and discuss with the students and look at it. Is it really a good solution for that particular problem or not? It must have a significant consequences. Okay, you cannot really say that design a satellite to go to moon, right? So how do I do it? In fact, can I really do it? Are my students really involved in that? So obviously no. 1 second. Okay, so have possible many component parts and subproblems. This is what actually, we have to really address the complex engineering problems because the industry needs this kind of analysis. Yeah, so PSOs. PSOs represent what the student should be able to do at the time of graduation from a specific program. Should imply all the core courses of the program. Okay. Should capture the scope of streams of the program, and they must have the action verbs, something like formulate, specify, design, plan, something. And actually the main point is these PSOs should not, because you're talking about specific, right? Specific you're talking, so therefore they should not have words called etc., such as, various, because when you say such as, etc., various, then they're not specific. That's it.
Okay, specifically you have to really talk. Now, this is our PSO for electronics and communication. Apply the knowledge of domain-specific skill set to the design and analysis of components in VLS and embedded systems. Okay, demonstrate the technical competency and use appropriate techniques in the realization of advanced communication systems. So, because we have three verticals, one is VLSI, embedded systems, and communication systems. So, therefore, we have written PSOs in that particular line. And our Department of Mechanical Engineering, they have written like this: demonstrate knowledge in the areas of design, analysis, and fabrication of mechanical systems. So if you look at the fabrication of mechanical systems, it's not mentioned in the PO. It is mentioned that modern tool uses. It's like PO5 is modern tool uses. But they want to be very specific that, they want their students to have to know the fabrication of mechanical systems and apply learned concepts and management skills to associate professionally, industry, or as an entrepreneur. What I observed, it's my observation only. I mean, don't know true or false, but most of the mechanical graduates will do MBA most of the time. Okay, so I mean, it's a generic statement. It's not a specific one. So that's the reason, because that kind of the culture is there here. So therefore, they have written the PS post like, they want to become an entrepreneur, something like that. Yeah. So let's. I just request the committee to give me another 5 minutes time. Am I okay?
No problem, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. So vision and mission statement. So what we want to do, what exactly we want to do, how to get there. So I want to go to moon. How do I get there? That's it. So simple. So vision and mission statements are always in line. So you can have anything, and once you have something, then just prepare a chart and then try to do that. So here there is something called bottom-up approach, right? So this is actually, in the afternoon session, my fellow colleague is going to talk about this, but he's talking about the backward approach, but it's also something like, bottom-up approach, and you must involve all the stakeholders. So discussion and brainstorming, it's not that, just write it down and then clear it off. You have to write it down, talk to the stakeholders, get the inputs, reframe them, talk to them, brainstorming sessions, gap analysis and SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, and opportunities and challenges. And your vision mission statement should also inline with the strategic plan, because in the strategic plan, we talk about the budget. Okay. So you must also prepare the budget in line with your vision and mission statements. And what are the immediate and long-term goals? What are the objectives and long-term goals? So that also your department must have. Okay. So 5 aspects of V and M, 5 aspects of vision, big and beautiful. So that's what, it's not small and beautiful, it is a big and beautiful. States your role in achieving your big goal and evolves with time. Please understand that you have prepared a vision mission statement in 1990 and you are still following the same vision and mission statements. No, actually these vision and mission statements should continuously evolve. That means that at least for 5 years, you have to change your vision mission statement, because 5 years back you had that vision and you achieved it. Then why are you keeping the same thing? Change it. Change the vision. Okay, aspirational. That means by just looking at that particular vision, you should be aspirational. I mean, like, yes, I really want to do that. So that kind of the statements that we have to write down. It should be ethical. Okay, it should be very, very ethical. And what are your mission statements? Extremely clear. Extremely clear. Pinpoint you have to talk. Okay, so mission statements can be 3 or 4, but vision statement must be 1. Okay, so answers what, by, when. This also evolves with time, and this is measurable. That is one difference between vision and mission. And focused. Right. That's what I just said everything. And this is the Vardhaman College vision and mission statements. And I don't read the quality policy, but look at it. To be a pioneer institute and leader in engineering education, to address the societal needs through education and practice. So this is what actually we want to do. So to do that, what kind of methodologies that we are following it? We would like to bring student-centric learning methods. We want our students to be professional and entrepreneurial, and we government find technological innovations very good. But this is not, I